Welcome back to the Am I Rich Yet podcast, a weekly podcast where we help millennials and Gen Zs spend, save, and grow their money smarter. Welcome to episode number 20. This is the long awaited for episode on love and money. We had a number of questions come in around this topic, and so we're going to be doing another rapid fire style episode. My name is Georgia. I'm a Gen Z, current MBA student, and navigating my personal finances.
I am Georgia's dad, a recently retired financial advisor, and I'm here to help you make smart decisions with your money. George, I don't know whether you noticed that I'm wearing a pink shirt. As I put the shirt on for our Love and Money podcast, I remembered purchasing this shirt, and I actually bought it at Old Navy. It was regularly $30 on sale. I paid $18 for it. So one of those value purchases that you get.
I have some great steals from Old Navy, and I love red short and pink top. It's right on theme.
I got a question for you before we get started. Have any of your boyfriends ever questioned your spending habits?
Wow, that's a crazy question.
Do you ever question any of your boyfriend's spending habits?
Okay, let's see.
No names.
Of course, no names.
We have stumped the host, ladies and gentlemen. We'll go to my question. What's my question? I'll give you some time to think. I'll let you recover a little bit here.
Okay.
Wow, that was a long pause, wasn't it?
I'm
She's
thinking
going to cut
about
that out. If it gets edited out, you'll know who did it.
My answer is no. Any previous partner I've been with, we typically have different income. We spend our money separately, and maybe in a healthy way, like challenging certain purchases we might do.
Audience, do you believe her? I really don't. But let's go to my question.
Okay, let's move on, and I'll recover after I ask your question. So my question to you is, we're sitting here, I see a number of our cottage towels hanging up on the rail, and Eric and I always joke that we have a favorite towel. What is your favorite towel? What's the texture of that towel, and what's the color?
We have some that are a little thicker and some that are a little thinner.
What do you
I always choose the thinner ones.
Oh, you're like Eric and I.
No.
He's using the thick one.
Sometimes you need to use them, but I don't like them as much for some reason.
Okay.
They're
Well,
more work.
what's your color palette of choice?
I'm not fussy on that.
Okay.
As long as it's thinner.
And a little rougher.
And fresh.
Fluffy.
No.
Okay. Now, to answer your previous question, I think with any partners I've had, we've had healthy discussions around money. I've never been in a situation where we've had a joint bank account or anything like that. So expenses are kept relatively equal and separate. And like with anyone, people spend things on different things, have different preferences towards where they want to put their money. I haven't been in a situation where anyone has really disapproved of anyone's spending habits or choices. So that's my answer.
Having the opportunity to sit with couples for the last 30 years, not all couples, but predominantly, I can tell you money discussions are huge. And of all the divorces where clients have divorced while I was working with them, it was always about the money. Sometimes they didn't think that one partner contributed enough. Some partners said you spend too much. It was ugly. You could see the divorce coming. So it is an important discussion. We're going to cover it today. We're going to look at a lot of the questions that our audience had. We're going to have some fun with it.
And grab your partner and listen to the episode together. Maybe it will spark some of those important questions that you should be having early on.
Definitely.
Let's jump into it. So the first question here. When I'm married, what's your advice on splitting expenses, saving money together, paying bills, etc.?
Okay, there's 4 different options. Believe it or not, 4 options. So follow me here. There's the one pot method. Everything goes into a pot. That's it. There's the 50-50 split method number 2. Yours is yours and mine is mine method. And the last one is a proportional split. I put in 60%, you put in 40%, I get to spend 60. They're all some version of the same. Let's go back to my earlier discussion about divorces. When people managed separate accounts and they were married, I can't think of one of those relationships that lasted. I can't. And they were already married, understand. But when it was, that's my money, that's your money, it was a disaster. You're joined, you're getting married or you're living together and you're one. You're not two, you're one. It's okay to still have your own fun account, but the bulk of the money, 80, 90%, needs to be a joint account, regardless of someone's income. What happens if someone's injured, someone's going through a job change? Do you cut them off to nothing? No, it's joint. That's the best strategy. It works the best, and I've seen it over and over again. Next up, set joint goals, set joint savings goals. Don't have one party doing all the savings. That's not a good strategy either. It should be, what are you saving for? What are you saving for a house, a new car? You should each know, okay, Georgia, you're due for a new car in 4 years. I get one in 2 years, or whatever it's a discussion. You're going to have things you want to renovate, things you're going to want to spend money on. Make a list, make a priority. What are we going to spend it on first? What's the budget for that? What's the second thing? And sometimes you move things around.
Yeah.
You can't do it all. So planning, working together, figuring it out.
Yeah.
And your mother and I have done that forever. We figure out what are the things we want to do, and we talk about it and come to a decision as to which we can't do everything. Sometimes stuff gets delayed.
Yeah, and I mean, in all the dating and relationship podcasts that I listen to and advice, it's all about communication. And, you should be having these conversations to understand your partner's financial priorities and lifestyle preferences as early as possible, so you know that you two are on the same page.
So a couple of ideas here. Automate savings, setting up your savings coming from joint accounts. Paying bills, use a joint account. That's the easiest way to do it. Assign responsibilities. Is the same person doing the bills? Okay, what's the strategy? There's multiple jobs in a relationship. Who's doing what? You can split everything, I guess, but you're often better to have one person do it. In our family, it was me. I did all the bills. Mm-hmm. That was just sort of what my job was. Anything where it was filling out forms and stuff like that, Ingrid did that. That was her responsibility. So pick and choose, and you could change it up.
See what works.
At the end of the day, I think communication is everything.
Okay, so Rob McClellan likes the one pot method.
100% one pot method.
Great. Next question here. What are the benefits of having a joint bank account with a partner if not married, or are there any? And let's remember the previous question was about married couples, so this is asking about joint bank accounts for non-married partners.
So I would go by the rules of the country right now. 2 years of living together, you're considered married. That's probably the time to start a joint bank account. If you're 2 months into a relationship, I think it's too early. So I'm good with 2 years. Okay, I think that's the time.
2 years of living.
Not just in a relationship where you've got your own places. I don't think you need a joint account for that, unless you want to save jointly for a trip or something. But no, not until you're living together, would be my take. Everyone gets to see everything. You're not hiding anything. The problems happen when you hide stuff. You come home with a bag of stuff you've been shopping, and you don't want to say that you dropped $300 or $1,000 on clothes when you only had $500 for that month to spend on clothes. So your transparency eliminates a lot of the problems, but you've got to have open and honest discussions.
For sure.
And you're going to make mistakes. That's inevitable. You're not we're not robots.
Yeah.
You're still going to make mistakes. You're still going to overspend on this, or let them know about some commitment you made too late, but have the discussions.
Just like any other aspect of a relationship, there will be mistakes, and if you make a financial mistake, your partner shouldn't be exonerated.
Yeah, but a day or two, you should have resolved it. If it goes on for weeks, that's dark. Dark.
Okay, we're going to get to marriage.
Okay, I'll tell you, being a financial advisor or a marriage counselor half the time. I don't have a license, but so all you do, 15 couples a week that you're sitting with, and you see them every 3 to 4 months. That's a lot of marriage counseling, especially if they're not doing their job.
Yeah.
And what's next?
Were there any other risks or rewards of joint bank accounts?
There's some technical stuff, joint liability, all of that stuff, and that's why I think it's more important. What happens if you're not living together and one of them runs off with all the money? Things like that happen. And even in relationships, you should have your backup plan if this relationship doesn't last. You don't want that. But if you start buying furniture together and all that stuff, you should be able to at least walk away with half, regardless of what caused the end of the relationship. That's my take. So you need to have those discussions. Is this a joint asset? If something happens, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And you don't need to mark every piece of furniture. I brought that in, I brought that in. What happens to the couch? We both bought it. What, are we going to saw it? Cut it in half. Next up.
Next question. When should I combine finances with my boyfriend? Or what should I do if I have a financially irresponsible boyfriend?
Okay. We're just going to go to part 2. My first thought was run. You can't change people. It's really tough. You think you can, taking on a project, it's not worth it. If you can't live with them being financially irresponsible, then it's not going to last. If you can live with it, there's so many other pros in the relationship you can live with, that's fine. That's different. But it's not going to get any better. People don't change. Furthermore, it's tough. They may change a bit.
Yeah.
They're not going to change to exactly what your expectations are.
Yeah, that's a harsh opinion, and I'd like to believe that just like anything, you can talk about and find common ground, and maybe one partner hasn't thought much about their expenses before and the other's very financially literate, and you can come together as a team. But I understand the root of that response was that people are who they are. I'd like to say that communication is key. So if you're feeling like a strain in your relationship is each other's spending habits, start having those conversations. And I think the more telling thing will be their response to that conversation. Are they going to try to educate themselves a little more? Are they willing, or are they saying, no, this is how I like to live my life and take it or leave it? Maybe that's the case of run. But have the conversations first.
Okay. What do you think the divorce rate is in the country?
Well, I know it's about 50%.
What would you guess the percent of those was because of financial issues?
Majority. It's finances, it's
Right.
kids, or it's intimacy.
But the bulk of it would be finances,
For
right?
sure. Have the conversations early.
I still say move on. Run.
All right. Next question here. Modern relationship tips. How and when to start talking financials with your partner.
Before you move in together.
Yeah,
If you're planning on moving in together, have those talks first.
for sure.
You don't want surprises that, like any part of a relationship, what are your beliefs in terms of saving? What is your beliefs in terms of spending?
Yeah.
What's most important to you? Those are some good, important conversations, and you're looking for green lights and red lights.
Yeah.
If it lines up, you're going to get a green light. If 3 things in a row don't line up, those are 3 red lights in a row.
Yeah.
That's not good. Sometimes love can be too powerful, and they're madly in love, but nothing aligns. Those relationships don't last.
Yeah.
They say couples that are amazingly affectionate in the first early going, those relationships, believe it or not, don't last.
Like
Because
the
the whole
love is really
relationship was
strong.
based on love, nothing else. It's a partnership for life, hopefully.
Now, I actually think a really incredible app idea or small business idea would be, and I bet something like this definitely exists out there, but a questionnaire that you and your partner, there are these apps that
Right.
would prompt each other with certain questions, but there could be a designated, before you move in, have these conversations, make sure you have a number of green, yellows, and reds, and then that's your green flag to move in. But I think anything like that sparks conversation with your partner about more taboo or trickier topics are important, like you've said.
And remember, when you get into the relationship, one of you is going to have more debt. One of you is going to have more income. One of you is going to have more issues. And who knows what it is. One of you is going to have more potential. There's all kinds of variables. Have some of those discussions and be honest. Don't surprise that if you're in a new relationship, don't not tell them that you have $100,000 worth of student debt, right? Like, that's an important thing to know.
I mean, well, the whole world knows it now.
Well, not the whole world, but hopefully.
Our 5 listeners.
What's next?
Next question. How do I get over my fear of talking about financials with my partner? I'm scared of being judged, looked down upon, especially because we are in such different phases in our lives financially.
It's an important discussion to have. You can't be fearful about sharing with a person that you want to maybe be your lifelong partner. You can't be afraid of that conversation. If you are, then you're always going to be afraid of it. And take that first step, and you don't have to go, I need to talk to you. go do it over a chill dinner setting. Just make it easy. And start small. Just, what are your thoughts on this? Or I've been wanting to talk about this at some point. Don't put pressure on the other person. Maybe they've got similar concerns about other things.
Yeah.
Right? Money has nothing to do with it, but it's about good discussions.
And I mean, I think if you're scared of what your partner is going to think, maybe you have a reason to feel a little nervous because, like we said, it's a taboo topic. You shouldn't fear your partner's response. If you're fearing that you're going to be judged or they're going to criticize you or insult you or something like that, that's probably not a super healthy relationship. You're probably feeling that because maybe you've been in that situation before. And if it's a new relationship, open your mind up. Maybe talk to a friend. Ask them how they would approach that conversation. And they'll probably reinforce that it's going to go better than you think.
Fair enough.
Next question. When couples get more serious about shifting from independent finances to combining finances, but have different money personalities, in brackets, spender versus saver, different risk tolerances, different earnings, how do you approach that shift?
I think the key is just to understand who you are. First off, are you a saver or a spender? Are you a goal setter or not a goal setter? You like the numbers or you don't like numbers? So you at least know where each other stands, and then you figure out roles, responsibilities, what are our goals? It's not rocket science. It really isn't. And you can't be afraid of having money discussions. It's important to have it. Because otherwise, if you just start spending, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a lot of problems. You don't want to, well, I got no money left in my account. Can I borrow? No, it's a joint account. There's no money left in the joint account.
Yeah.
Okay? My take is don't be afraid of money discussions.
Yeah. And would you say most couples that you've seen have similar money personalities? Like it's sounding like this person writing in fears that because they have different money personalities, maybe they're worried that the conversation will bring to the surface some things that might make them not work out as a couple. But what has your experience been?
Simple. Two spenders together, that's rough.
Yeah.
Saver and a spender, or a spender and a saver, perfect balance. Two savers together, nothing to worry about.
Okay.
So it's only the two spenders together who are goal setters. That's a tough one.
And maybe are financially irresponsible. If they're willing to change their habits and want to save and have that determination, and maybe...
Okay, by the time they reach 50 years of age, they got a nice big house with a big mortgage. They got two really newer cars in the driveway, and the kids are probably in private school, and there's no assets to speak of. And their net worth is negative. They've got no asset value because they're both spenders, and no one's ever told them any different. I come across those clients, as I talked about on an earlier podcast, often they get referred to me. These people have a lot of money. Then I meet them and they have no money, which is interesting because there's not much I can do at that stage.
Next question. I make $50,000 more than my boyfriend and we live together. Should we be paying rent proportionally or equally?
Since one partner earns significantly more, in this case the person asking the question, I believe in a proportional split. So let's say the proportion is 80%. The one partner is making, say, $100,000, contribute 80%, and the other person's making $50,000 and they contribute 80%. That's a better way, because what you're doing, you're moving towards that one pot. Whereas if you said we're going to split everything 50-50, you're having to live at the lower common denominator, which is the $50,000. So when you go out to dinner, you're having to go out to a cheaper dinner because that's all the person making $50,000 can contribute. What I've never liked is when people are having to send money back and forth. Put the money in, I get paid every 2 weeks, whatever it is, I'm putting 70%, 80% of my pay in, that's my contribution.
Now you used 80%, but given in previous episodes, we've talked about how 30% is a great number. That rent to income ratio we talked about.
Again, we said no taxes involved in this.
Yeah.
Total expenses are 80%.
Yeah.
So that's what they should each be contributing as a percent of their income.
Okay, so...
Of which rent will be a portion of it, probably the biggest piece of it. But groceries are expensive, travel is expensive, going out for dinner is expensive.
Yeah, so for shared expenses, and this question is asking specifically about rent. So partner that is making more should be contributing more than the partner that's making less.
Exactly.
Bottom line.
Exactly. And you put it all into one pot and you take the expenses out of that pot. As opposed to you go out for $100 dinner, if you're each sharing 50%, the person making $50,000 is that's a really expensive dinner for them. It's not fair.
And I know you say you don't like sending money back and forth, but the reality is there are apps like Splitwise where people put in what expenses and it calculates at the end of the week how much you owe the other person. And at the early stages when you're just navigating this, sometimes that is the best method. I know it's worked for a lot of couples.
And change what you start with.
Yeah.
Whatever you started with, you can adjust as the relationship gets closer or further apart.
For sure. Both partners should feel equally empowered, equally valued, and you should be doing what's best for you two as a team if you're deciding to move into it. Next question. What are important financial conversations to have with partners when planning a future?
What do you each make? What are your spending habits? Do you have any debt? Are you bringing any debt into the relationship? Do you have any funds set aside? What's your belief in emergency funds? What are your financial goals? What do you want to accomplish? Short-term, long-term? Do you have any insurance in place? Life insurance, disability, critical illness, any of those things? Do you have a will, power of attorney? Like, you're getting into deeper discussions, but start with the initial ones.
Yeah.
What do you have? What are your assets? Put it all out on the table.
And I mean, you're not sitting down on a first date and saying,
No,
how much
no,
money do you
no.
pay? Is it, what type of inheritance are you getting? And,
Exactly. Well, sorry, we have signed an agreement. You can't have any of it.
have those mature conversations that come when you're at the right stage with your
For
partner.
sure. So I got a couple of quotes that I thought might help us close this episode off. Too many couples spend more time planning their wedding than planning their financial future. That's
Wow, that's
right. True. That's from Dave Ramsey, a well-known writer in the U.S. Next, from Susie Orman. When two people truly understand each other financially, emotionally, and practically, that's wealth.
I like that.
Okay? Anonymous, love is grand, divorce is $100,000. Next up, love may be blind, but marriage is a real eye-opener, especially when the credit card bill arrives. The bill comes in and it's $3,000 and you start going through line by line of what were all the purchases. In every relationship, there's a spender and a saver. If you don't know which one you are, you're the spender. Yeah, right? Good discussion on that. I think the key takeaway is what?
The key takeaway is have the conversations. Have them early, gradually move from simpler conversations to more complex. And what would you say is the second point?
Book time for the next discussion,
I like that.
right? And keep the conversation moving and it will evolve.
Yeah.
What's up next week?
So next week, we're going to be discussing lifestyle versus finances.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks for joining us for another episode, and we will see you next week.